The scent of ozone and expensive synthetic carpet still lingers in my memory from that executive boardroom. The late afternoon sun slanted across the polished ebony table where I'd placed the signed agreement, the $80 million partnership with Vertex Industries I'd cultivated for 2 long years. My pulse hammered, a mix of triumph and disbelief. This was the moment I'd worked for. Arthur Vance, our CEO, entered with his perfectly tailored gray suit and practiced smile. Behind him glided Celeste Dubois, our VP of Strategic Growth, who'd been noticeably absent during the grueling negotiations. Their expressions were not celebratory, but carefully neutral. "Anya," Arthur began, not even glancing at the papers on the table. "We need to talk about restructuring." My celebratory smile felt brittle. "We're taking the company in a different direction," he continued, sliding a slim folder across the table. "Your role is being eliminated, effective immediately." I stared at the termination papers. 2 years of relentless effort, missed weekends, pouring my life into securing this deal, and I was being fired minutes after delivering the biggest win in Sterling Solutions history. "Celeste will be integrating Vertex," Arthur added smoothly. "She has the corporate polish we feel is necessary for relationships at this level." I met Celeste's cool, triumphant gaze, and a strange sense of calm washed over me. They had absolutely no idea what they had just done. I signed the papers, closed the folder, and stood. Then I smiled. Just 3 weeks prior, I'd sat across from Lena Rostova, the dynamic CEO of Vertex Industries. Her office was minimal, filled with natural light and scattered prototype models. Rain had drummed softly against the panoramic windows as we finalized the terms. Lena wasn't interested in corporate platitudes, she valued ingenuity and candor. "Anya, we're ready to commit," she'd said, leaning forward. "But I need your assurance. You, personally, will be managing the transition and oversight. Not a handoff to some random account team." I'd hesitated. Sterling Solutions' process was rigid, sales closed, account management took over. But Lena was firm. "This is an $80 million leap for us," she insisted, her eyes piercing. "I'm not signing unless you personally guarantee your involvement." "I promise," I finally said, meeting her gaze. "I will personally manage this." "You have my word." Lena studied me for a moment, then nodded. "Good. I trust you, Anya." "Not Sterling Solutions." We shook hands. I never mentioned this specific condition to anyone at Sterling. It wasn't in the official contract language, just a personal pact between us. Something instinctively told me to keep that detail quiet. That handshake felt like my safety net, though I couldn't foresee why then. My office door was still slightly ajar when I overheard it, 2 days before the Vertex signing. Celeste's voice, hushed but clear, drifted from Arthur's office. "She doesn't have the pedigree for this scale," Celeste had said. "Vertex executives come from elite universities. How will Anya, with her state tech degree, truly resonate?" My blood ran cold. I'd always worked twice as hard to compensate for not having the right connections or alma mater. While Celeste flaunted her prestigious MBA, I'd been too busy actually securing business to worry about university rankings. "The board shares concerns," Arthur had conceded. "This is our largest partnership yet. We need someone with the executive fit. I can step in," Celeste had offered smoothly. "I understand their culture." We were planning a shift in leadership anyway. The pieces clicked into place. They'd been orchestrating my exit all along. My success with Vertex wasn't a triumph, it was the perfect setup for my own termination. My value wasn't measured in results, but in background. I backed away silently, my hands shaking with a cold fury I hadn't known I possessed. Back in my apartment after being escorted out by security, the severance package sat on my counter, 6 months' pay for my silence. They thought money would contain me. My phone buzzed. A message from Lena, looking forward to our kickoff Monday. "Vertex team is excited." I stared at the screen. Sterling hadn't told them yet. Of course not. The internal signing ceremony was tomorrow. They'd fire me today, celebrate the deal tomorrow, and then inform Lena I was replaced. I could warn her now. One text and their carefully constructed plan would shatter. My finger hovered over the keyboard, but I stopped. Some things are better witnessed firsthand. Some lessons must be learned the hard way. I put my phone down and allowed myself a quiet smile. In less than 24 hours, Sterling Solutions' perfectly ordered world would collide with reality, and I wouldn't need to do a thing to make it happen. I pictured the scene: Sterling's opulent boardroom, executives in their finest, cameras poised. Lena would arrive precisely on time. Arthur would step forward, hand extended. "Where's Anya?" Lena would ask immediately, scanning the room. Arthur would falter. "Anya is no longer with the company. But I'd like to introduce Celeste Dubois, who will be overseeing Vertex." And then it would happen. Lena's face would harden. "No Anya, no deal." The room would freeze. Confusion, then panic. "I made a promise to Anya, and she made one to me," Lena would state clearly. "If she's gone, this agreement is off the table." Just like that, $80 million would evaporate. 2 years of work, the company's biggest win, gone. I poured myself a glass of water and smiled. Sometimes, vindication requires no action. Sometimes, you just need to wait. My quiet Saturday morning was shattered by my phone ringing relentlessly. I ignored it until my meditation session finished. 12 missed calls, 30-odd texts, all from Sterling numbers. One caught my eye: "You nuked the signing. Call me." David. David was Sterling's general counsel, a decent sort. I smiled, picturing the scene. Contracts shredded, platitudes choked, Arthur's slicked back hair probably a mess from stress. As I finally picked up the phone, it rang again. Arthur Vance. This would be interesting. I let it ring twice more before answering. "Naomi. I mean, Anya." Arthur's voice was strained. "There's been a misunderstanding." I remained silent. "Lena Rostova is refusing to proceed without you. This is catastrophic." I took a slow sip of water. "That sounds like a Sterling problem, Arthur, not an Anya problem." "We need to fix this," he pleaded. "Can you come in? We can discuss your position." I laughed softly. My position was eliminated, remember? Effective immediately. His silence was deafening. "Name your price," he finally said, his voice now desperate. "VP title, whatever you want." I leaned back on my couch, enjoying the moment. "You know what's funny, Arthur? Yesterday, I wasn't executive fit. My background wasn't prestigious enough. Today, suddenly, I'm essential." "That's not." "It is exactly what happened," I interrupted. "Celeste made it clear my technical degree wasn't impressive enough for Vertex executives." Funny how Lena never seemed to mind. The other end was silent. "We can make this right," he insisted. "Triple your salary. Corner office. Direct report to me." I closed my eyes, savoring it. For years, I'd felt I had to run twice as fast to be seen standing still. Now, they were begging. "No thank you," I said calmly. "You didn't value me when you had me. You only want me because you're hemorrhaging now. Anya, please. Good luck with Vertex, Arthur." I hear Lena can be quite unwavering when she feels someone's broken trust. I hung up and blocked his number. Sunday afternoon, my doorbell rang. I peered through the peephole to see Lena Rostova standing there, holding a bottle of expensive whiskey. "You could have warned me," she said when I opened the door, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. I shrugged. Would it have changed anything? "No," she admitted, setting the bottle on my kitchen counter. "But I could have prepared better." Arthur Vance looked like he was going to collapse. We both laughed as I grabbed glasses. "They offered to bring you back," Lena stated, not a question. I nodded, pouring the amber liquid. "Triple my salary, VP title, the works." And I told them no. She smiled, lifting her glass. Good. Because I have a better idea. We clinked glasses and took a shot. The whiskey burned, a pleasant warmth spreading through me. I'm not signing with Sterling, Lena continued. Not now, not ever. But I still need a new system, and you still need a job. What are you suggesting? My eyes met hers, sparkling with possibilities. I know someone you should meet, she said. Another CEO who's been trying to get my attention for years. Monday morning, I met Elias Thorne at a quiet cafe overlooking the harbor. He wasn't what I expected, no power suit, no forced smile. Just jeans, a simple sweater, and an intense, focused energy. Lena speaks highly of you, he said after we ordered coffee. That's rare. I studied him. Your company, Apex Dynamics, you're a direct competitor to Sterling's market. He nodded. We're leaner, more agile, truly innovative. What Sterling sells is already yesterday's tech. Then why hasn't Lena signed with you before now? Elias smiled. She never returned my calls. Until yesterday. Our coffees arrived. This was business. So, I said, why am I here? Because you understand enterprise clients. You build genuine relationships where I couldn't even get a foot in the door. And you just walked away from an $80 million deal on principle. I didn't walk away, I corrected. I was fired. Details, he waved dismissively. The point is, Lena trusts you. I need someone Lena trusts. I took a slow sip of coffee. And what do I get out of this? Elias leaned forward. How does head of client partnership sound? Plus significant equity, real ownership, not symbolic options. I'm not interested in a title, I told him, watching his expression shift from confident to curious. I can get a title anywhere. He nodded slowly. What are you interested in? Impact, I said simply. Freedom to build something that genuinely matters. No more corporate politics, no more elite fit requirements. Elias chuckled. I dropped out of college, so you're safe there. The city skyline stretched behind him, including the gleaming tower that housed Sterling Solutions, where I'd spent years climbing a ladder rigged against me. Here's my offer, Elias continued. You bring your expertise. I give you the platform, the resources, and full autonomy. We build something better than Sterling ever imagined. And Vertex? That's up to you, I said. You landed her once. Think you can do it again? I smiled. This wasn't about petty revenge. This was about building something authentic, something Arthur and Celeste could never grasp with their polished facades and empty metrics. One condition, I added. I build my team my way. No pedigree requirements. I want people who deliver, regardless of where they went to school. Elias extended his hand. Welcome to Apex Dynamics. Lena arrived at Apex Dynamics headquarters the following week. The space was functional, modern, filled with whiteboards covered in ideas, a stark contrast to Sterling's opulent offices. Elias, Lena, and I sat in a small conference room. No ceremony, just direct conversation over coffee. Your platform is still new, Lena said to Elias, ever blunt. Sterling has a long track record. A track record of firing the people you trust? Elias countered gently. I spread my proposal on the table. It was similar to what I'd designed at Sterling, but refined, more flexible, built for growth. I can offer the same guarantees I made before, I said to Lena. With one improvement, I'm not going anywhere this time. Lena studied the papers, then looked at me. Same price? 10% less, I replied. We don't have Sterling's overhead. She raised an eyebrow, impressed. When can you start? We already have, Elias said, showing initial mock-ups on his tablet. Lena extended her hand to Elias, then to me. Send over the agreements. We're in. Just like that, a $72 million deal was born, and Sterling's first, crucial domino fell. News spread like wildfire. Industry journals reported, Vertex pulls $80 million deal from Sterling, signs with Apex Dynamics. My online profile exploded. Old colleagues reached out. Even my mother called. Is it true? She asked. Did you really leave Sterling and take their biggest client? I didn't leave, Mom. They fired me, I corrected. Everything else is basically true. She paused. I'm proud of you, honey. Standing up for yourself like that. Her words hit me hard. All those years pushing, trying to prove I belonged despite not fitting their mold. It wasn't just for me. It was for her, for everyone told they weren't enough. That afternoon, my phone rang. This is Anya Sharma, a woman asked. Speaking. This is Isabella Ross, CEO of Horizon Systems. I understand you've recently joined Apex Dynamics. My heart leaped. Horizon was another potential huge client on Sterling's prospect list. We're currently reviewing proposals, she continued. I'd like to add Apex Dynamics to our consideration list. The ripples were becoming waves. Through contacts, I heard about the chaos at Sterling. Their stock dropped 15% after the Vertex news. Investors were demanding answers. David, still a friendly face, texted, board meeting was brutal. Arthur blamed Celeste, Celeste blamed legal. Everyone's looking for a scapegoat. I didn't feel the sharp satisfaction I expected. These were people I'd worked with. I didn't wish them ruin, just perspective. That evening, an email from Celeste arrived. Surprising, given everything. I underestimated you, she wrote. That was my mistake, and I'm paying for it. They're looking for someone to take the fall. Guess who's first in line? I closed my laptop without replying. Celeste had chosen her path, prioritizing pedigree over capability. Now, she was learning that elite degrees don't insulate you from consequences. Later, another text from David, Sterling stock down 20% now. For more clients asking questions. Board is in full panic mode. Arthur looks terrible. The empire wasn't just cracking, it was visibly crumbling. My first day at Apex Dynamics was energizing. No mahogany, no executive suites, just an open, collaborative space. Elias introduced me simply, this is Anya. She just cost Sterling Solutions $80 million because she was too valuable to lose. Listen to her. Faces, some familiar, some new, looked at me with curiosity and respect. I was given a desk by a window, a small team, work that mattered. During lunch, I unpacked a box of personal items. Among them, my framed diploma from the State Technical University. The one Celeste had subtly mocked. I placed it prominently on my desk. Elias noticed. Nice school, he commented with a smile. Not prestigious enough for some, I replied. He shrugged. My college dropout proof is somewhere in a drawer. Results matter more than paper. I looked around my new workplace. No pretense, no arbitrary barriers. Innovation and authenticity. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. Celeste didn't fade quietly. She launched a desperate campaign to win back Vertex, calling Lena incessantly until Lena finally blocked her. She offered to beat our price by 18%, Lena told me over lunch. When that didn't work, she started implying your implementation would fail without Sterling's resources. I nearly choked on my water. What did you say to that? Lena smiled coolly. I said that Anya Sharma with a laptop is worth more than Sterling's entire development team. Meanwhile, Elias and I were preparing our pitch for Horizon Systems, the second domino. Our proposal was revolutionary, combining elements Sterling hadn't conceived. That evening, Isabella Ross's assistant confirmed our presentation slot, the same day Sterling was scheduled to pitch. The playing field was definitely tilting. Before leaving, I saw a notification, Arthur Vance had viewed my online profile twice. He could see my new role at Apex Dynamics. He could see the wave of congratulations. I wondered if he regretted his decision yet. I wondered if Celeste did. Marcus Thorne, a brilliant but overlooked systems architect from Sterling, waited for me outside our office the next morning. "Got a minute?" he asked, glancing nervously around. I invited him in for coffee. Marcus had always been the technical backbone, perpetually passed over for leadership because he lacked the presence Sterling valued. "They're in freefall," he said, settling in. 3 more clients are reviewing contracts. Arthur is micromanaging everything. Celeste is blaming anyone but herself. I nodded, waiting. "I heard what they did to you," he continued. "The real story, not the downsizing lie." He paused. "I spent 7 years building their systems. 7 years being told I'm too quiet for leadership. I'm ready for something new." The unspoken request was clear. I studied him. "We value results here, Marcus," I said. "Not how loud you talk in meetings or what university you attended." Relief washed over his face. "When can I start? How's Monday sound?" The exodus had begun. Horizon Systems signed with us a week later. Another major client lost for Sterling. Another win for Apex. Our team celebrated with takeout and sodas. No fancy venues, just genuine satisfaction. My phone lit up with a text from David. "Arthur just got a report identifying 6 more at-risk clients, all asking about you specifically. Board is in full panic mode." I showed the message to Elias. "The best revenge is massive success," he grinned. "This isn't about revenge," I corrected him. "It's about building something better." That night, an unexpected email arrived from a junior analyst at Sterling I'd mentored briefly. "They're monitoring your profile, making lists of who's connecting with you, creating risk assessments based on your posts." I was living rent-free in their heads. The thought wasn't entirely unpleasant. Later, a notification: Celeste had removed me from her professional connections. I smiled. She still didn't understand. This wasn't about networking or connections. It was about substance, real value, not the kind you list on a resume. Sterling was afraid, and they had every reason to be. Monday morning brought news that Sterling's legal team was preparing a cease and desist letter, claiming I'd violated non-compete clauses. David gave me a heads up. "They're desperate, grasping at straws." I forwarded it to Elias, who connected me with Apex's lawyers. Within hours, they confirmed my Sterling contract had no enforceable non-compete. They had nothing. But Celeste wasn't finished. Through industry channels, I learned she was spreading rumors that Lena Rostova was considering a breach of contract suit against us. It was a desperate, baseless lie. I called Lena immediately. "Are you hearing these rumors about you suing me?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She laughed. "Yes. Apparently, I'm very angry about being tricked into breaking my Sterling agreement." "Except there was no contract," I pointed out. "You never signed." "Exactly. I've already had my PR team issue a statement clarifying that." "Celeste is going to look even more foolish when it hits the news." I thanked her, feeling a strange mix of emotions. This wasn't the clean break I'd imagined. This was turning into a conflict. One Sterling started but couldn't possibly win. Not against us. Not anymore. That evening, Lena invited me to her apartment for dinner. It was a spacious, modern place overlooking the city. We sat on her balcony with takeout and wine, watching the sunset. "Remember senior year?" she asked, refilling my glass. "That awful apartment we shared?" I laughed. "The one with the leaky ceiling and the neighbors who fought all night?" "How could I forget?" "We ate instant noodles for weeks to afford textbooks," she said, smiling at the memory. "And we made that pact." The pact. I hadn't thought about it in years. 2 college girls on a worn rug, making promises about the future. When one of us makes it, we pull the other one up, I recited from memory. Lena nodded. I always thought I'd be pulling you up. She looked at me, her eyes serious. Turns out, we're pulling each other. We clinked glasses. Behind her, the Sterling Tower stood tall among the skyscrapers, its windows glowing. Once, I'd dreamed of an office there. Now, I saw how much bigger the world was outside those glass walls. To promises kept, Lena said. To promises kept, I echoed. Some bonds transcend agreements. Some loyalty can't be bought with elite degrees or corner offices. Elias called me into his office early Tuesday, a wide grin on his face. Headlines blazed across his monitor. Startup Apex Dynamics steals second major client from industry giant Sterling Solutions. How a fired manager built a rival empire in under 60 days. Sterling stock was plummeting. The David versus Goliath narrative was everywhere. We're trending, Elias said, barely containing his excitement. Investors were calling. Reporters were clamoring. What do you want to do? He asked. This is your moment. I considered the question. Part of me wanted to tell the world how Sterling had dismissed me for not having the right background, how elitism had cost them millions. But a bigger part knew that success speaks louder than any interview. Let's focus on building, I said finally. The results will tell our story better than words. Elias nodded approvingly. That's why you're here. Later that day, we closed a third major deal. No press release needed. The news hit Sterling like a shockwave. Celeste Dubois, VP of Strategic Growth at Sterling Solutions, was stepping down to pursue other opportunities. The corporate euphemism fooled no one. David texted details, board cited catastrophic mismanagement of key client relationships. She's gone. Arthur demoted to president, no longer CEO. They're bringing in crisis management. I felt a complicated mix of satisfaction and a strange sadness. Celeste had chosen her path, valuing status over substance. Now, she was paying the price. That afternoon, my notifications showed 5 more Sterling employees had updated their profiles as open to work. The exodus was accelerating. An email arrived from Arthur, sent to my personal address. I was wrong, it read simply. Too little, too late. But I appreciated the flicker of humanity behind it. In another life, in a company that valued the right things, perhaps we could have built something great together. I closed the email without replying. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. 6 months flew by in a whirlwind of growth. Apex Dynamics expanded. Our client list tripled. Our team more than doubled again. Many were former Sterling employees, talented people overlooked for all the wrong reasons. I called them my Phoenix team, rising from the ashes of their former careers. Marcus had transformed our technical architecture. Mei Lin, a brilliant strategist stuck in junior roles because she wasn't political enough, now led our market insights. Ben Carter, passed over repeatedly despite stellar performance because he lacked polish, headed our client integration. We weren't just building software, we were building a culture that valued results over resumes, impact over image. Elias gave me full autonomy. No HR filters for specific schools or executive fit. Just raw talent and genuine passion. During our weekly meeting, I looked around at these faces, some I'd known for years, others brand new. All united by a shared vision of what work could be when freed from arbitrary gatekeeping. This is just the beginning, I told them. And I meant it. Sterling Solutions' new CEO, a turnaround specialist named Victoria Hahn, made her first move. A buyout offer for Apex Dynamics. The email came directly to Elias and me. We see tremendous synergy. They're desperate, Elias said, feet propped on his desk. This is a last-ditch effort. I nodded. Their board must be in utter panic. So, Elias leaned forward, what do we tell them? I thought about Sterling's glass tower, the executive suites, the prestigious address, all the trappings without the substance. Then I looked around our vibrant, energetic space. Tell them we're not for sale, I said finally. Not at any price. Elias grinned and drafted the response, thank you for your interest. We must decline. You couldn't afford us then. You still can't afford us now. Perhaps it was petty. Perhaps it was unprofessional. But watching him hit send felt like sealing the end of a chapter that needed closure. Some things aren't for sale. Some principles can't be compromised. A year to the day after being fired, I stood in my new office. Glass walls, a view of the city. No mahogany, just functionality and light. On my desk sat a small framed note from Lena, I keep my promises too. Next to it, my State Technical University diploma, proudly displayed. And beside that, our latest quarterly report. Growth that had surpassed even our most optimistic projections. Elias knocked, coffee in hand. Board meeting in 10. The investors are practically giddy. I nodded, gathering my materials. Did you see the news about Sterling? He asked. Acquisition rumors. Still struggling with the client exodus. Stock down 65% since last year. I felt no joy at their downfall, only a quiet satisfaction that the market had finally recognized true value over empty prestige. As we walked to the conference room, my team was gathering, diverse faces from all backgrounds, united by talent. Marcus gave me a thumbs up. Ready to change the world? Elias asked. I smiled. We already have. Some vindication doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be final.
Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really interesting personal account you sent us.
Yes, and we've dug into it to pull out the key lessons.
It's a story about someone named Anya Sharma at a company, Sterling Solutions.
Right. And what happened after she landed this huge deal, an $80 million partnership.
Exactly. So our mission today is to look at what happens when, pedigree, the fancy background gets valued over actual performance.
And also the power of just individual talent and sticking to your principles. It's quite a story.
It really is. Lots of twists. Okay, let's set the scene. Sterling Solutions.
So Anya, she'd worked for 2 years putting together this massive partnership with Vertex Industries. $80 million.
Huge win. You'd think celebration time, right?
You would.
Yeah.
But literally moments after the ink dried on the contract, they told her job was gone.
Gone. Just like that.
Yep. Said it was restructuring, needed someone with more corporate polish for the high-level stuff.
Corporate polish,
Right.
okay. And that someone was Celeste Dubois.
That's the one. And they made a point of mentioning her prestigious MBA, quite different from Anya's state tech degree.
So the contrast was intentional. What does that immediate dismissal tell you right after her biggest success?
Well, it says a lot about Sterling's real priorities, doesn't it? And Anya actually overheard something crucial.
Oh, what was that?
She heard Celeste and the CEO, Arthur Vance, talking, explicitly saying Anya didn't have that elite background.
Seriously?
Yes. And that the board worried she wouldn't, quote, resonate with the Vertex executives.
Wow. So it wasn't about the $80 million she just delivered. It was about where she went to school.
Pretty much. It shows a real blind spot, focusing on that kind of image over proven substance.
And Anya, how did she take it?
Well, initial shock, obviously. Who wouldn't be shocked? But then she apparently got very calm.
Calm.
Yeah, realized it wasn't sudden. It was planned. They used her success to swap her out for Celeste.
And then offered her severance. Like, thanks for the $80 million, here's the door.
Basically, yes. A bit insulting, really.
But Sterling missed something huge, didn't they? Something about the deal itself.
Oh, absolutely. A critical piece they were completely blind to. It involved the Vertex CEO, Lena Rostova.
Okay, what was Lena's angle?
Lena wasn't about the corporate fluff. She valued, real ingenuity, straight talk, candor.
Refreshing.
Very. And she'd made a specific condition for the deal with Anya. A personal condition.
Which Sterling didn't know about.
Seems not. Lena insisted, made it non-negotiable that Anya personally guarantee and manage the entire transition.
Not just someone from Sterling.
And
Anya specifically.
Exactly. Lena trusted Anya. Her skills, her word. Not just some random team Sterling might assign.
That says a lot about Anya's relationship with her. So Anya knew this.
Oh, yes. And she made that promise. Crucially, she decided to keep that part quiet.
Smart move. Why do you think she did that?
Probably good instincts. Maybe saw how Sterling operated, felt this personal guarantee might matter later. Lena's trust was clearly in Anya, the person, not Sterling, the company.
Okay, so let's jump to the signing ceremony. Sterling's leadership is probably thrilled, right? Popping champagne.
Absolutely. Picture it. Big celebration planned. Then Lena arrives, looks around, and asks the million-dollar question. Well, the $80 million question.
Where's Anya?
Precisely. And when they told her Anya was, let go,
What happened?
Lena didn't hesitate. Her response was immediate. No Anya, no deal.
Wow. Just like that. Pulled the plug.
Pulled the plug. $80 million vanished. Gone. Based on that one condition, that one person.
That's incredible. The power of that personal promise.
It really is. And the impact on Sterling. Instant chaos.
I bet. From celebration to
Ugh.
panic, confusion.
All of the above. Utter panic. Their biggest deal ever just evaporated.
And Anya. Where was she in all this?
Observing from afar, probably feeling, well, somewhat vindicated, you could say, watching the consequences play out.
So Sterling's leadership, Arthur Vance, the CEO,
Mhm.
what did they do next?
What do you think? Frantic calls to Anya. Suddenly, she's the most important person in the world to them.
After firing her for lacking polish. The irony.
Isn't it? And the offers started flying. BP title, triple her salary, corner office, direct report to the CEO. Everything.
Trying to buy her back after deciding she wasn't good enough. What does that say about them?
It screams hypocrisy, doesn't it? Just days before she didn't fit. Now, facing disaster, suddenly she's worth all that.
And Anya's response. Did she take the bait?
Not a chance. She saw right through it, pointed out the hypocrisy. Why value her now?
A reason.
Simple. She told them they only wanted her back because they were, in her words, hemorrhaging.
Ouch. But accurate.
Very. She wasn't going back just to fix the mess they created by undervaluing her in the first place.
But the story doesn't end there for Anya. Lena Rostova steps back in.
Yes, Lena showed real integrity. She didn't just walk away. She reached out to Anya.
To do what? Commiserate.
More than that, they talked. And Lena, impressed by Anya's handling of the situation and her obvious talent, made an introduction.
An introduction? To whom?
To Elias Thorne, CEO of Apex Dynamics.
Ah, a Sterling competitor. Interesting move by Lena.
Very. It showed she valued Anya's abilities and principles and wanted to help her land on her feet, or maybe even thrive.
So what did Elias Thorne at Apex see in Anya?
He saw exactly what Sterling missed. Someone who gets clients, builds real relationships.
And someone who'd walk away from $80 million on principle. That takes guts.
Huge guts. Elias recognized that immediately. So his offer wasn't just a job,
A
head of client partnerships, but also significant equity in Apex. Real skin in the game.
very different proposition from Sterling's desperate offers.
Yeah.
How did Anya react?
Again, she wasn't just chasing titles or money. She talked about impact, freedom.
Freedom to do what?
To build her team her way. Based on talent and results, not where they went to school, no pedigree requirements. That was her condition.
And Elias agreed.
He did. He valued her approach. And guess what happened next?
Let me guess. Apex landed the Vertex deal.
You got it. With Anya involved, they put together a better proposal, actually 10% cheaper than Sterling's original, and Vertex signed with Apex.
So Sterling lost the deal, lost Anya, and now their competitor has both. That's gotta hurt.
Oh, the dominoes started falling fast for Sterling after that.
How so? What were the ripple effects?
Well, first, the news hit the industry wires. Sterling's stock took an immediate hit, down 15% pretty quickly.
And
Then it dropped further, closer to 20%, and other clients started getting nervous, calling Sterling, questioning their contracts.
understandably, if they could fumble such a big deal.
Exactly. And internally, at Sterling, they needed a scapegoat.
Let me guess again. Celeste Dubois, the one with the polish?
Bingo. The one brought in to replace Anya became the one blamed for the fallout.
Poetic justice, maybe?
Perhaps. And it didn't stop there. Remember Marcus Thorne, Sterling's systems architect?
Vaguely. What about him?
Talented guy, apparently. But Sterling had consistently overlooked him. He saw what happened, saw where Anya landed.
And he left Sterling for Apex, too.
Joined Anya's team at Apex. Just highlighting again how Sterling was blind to the talent right under their noses.
This is turning into a rout for Sterling. Any more bad news for them?
Oh, yes. Horizon Systems, another big prospect Sterling was courting, they also signed with Apex.
Why? Because of Anya again.
Largely. Her reputation for delivering, for building strong teams, was growing fast. Sterling was just bleeding clients and credibility. internal chaos.
It really highlights the difference in culture, doesn't it?
Absolutely stark contrast. Sterling, obsessed with executive fit, pedigree, the MBA.
Versus Apex.
Led by Elias Thorne, a college dropout, by the way, focused on results, innovation, trusting talent.
And Anya displaying her state tech diploma at Apex. That's quite a statement.
A very deliberate, symbolic statement, valuing substance, not just the shiny credentials.
Did Sterling try to fight back at all? Besides trying to hire Anya?
Oh, they tried.
No.
Celeste, before she was let go, apparently made some desperate moves.
Yeah.
Tried to win back Vertex, maybe spread some rumors about Anya or Apex.
How'd that go?
Backfired. Completely. Lena Rostova stayed fiercely loyal to Anya, even made public statements supporting Anya and Apex.
Solidifies the trust element again. What about legal threats? Non-competes?
Sterling apparently rattled that saber too. But it went nowhere. Their case was baseless. Just added to their desperation.
So Celeste was fired, Arthur the CEO demoted. What happened to the team Anya built at Apex?
Her Phoenix team, as they apparently called it, mostly people Sterling had undervalued. They were thriving.
A testament to her approach.
Absolutely. Proving that potential Sterling completely missed. And get this, Sterling even tried a Hail Mary offer to buy Apex Dynamics later on.
Seriously, after all that.
Yep, Apex rejected it flat out.
So fast forward, let's say a year later, what's the picture?
Apex Dynamics. Growing significantly, really successful, stock performing well.
And Sterling Solutions.
Still struggling. Badly. Stock down to like 65% from its peak. Constant rumors they're going to be acquired. Probably for parts.
Wow, a complete reversal of fortunes.
Yeah.
And Anya.
Reflecting on it all, the importance of real value, loyalty, sticking to your word. And apparently Lena sent her a note at some point. Just said, I keep my promises too.
Powerful, sums up that core relationship.
It really does. The integrity held firm.
Okay, let's distill this. What are the big takeaways here?
Well, first and foremost, the huge risk companies take when they value those superficial things. The pedigree, the fit, over proven ability.
Sterling basically shot themselves in the foot, dismissing the one person who secured their biggest win because she didn't fit their mold.
Exactly. It was self-sabotage, driven by a flawed value system.
And for me, the aha moment is just how fast it all unraveled for Sterling. That one decision to prioritize elite fit over Anya. Boom. Immediate, catastrophic consequences.
It really was swift, which leads to the second big takeaway. Trust and keeping your word. In business, that stuff really matters.
Anya's promise to Lena and Lena's loyalty back. That was stronger than any corporate structure or contract, wasn't it?
Absolutely. That personal integrity formed the real foundation of the successful deal. First with Sterling, then with Apex.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About your own work, your own industry. Do you see these dynamics?
Are people sometimes valued more for the name on their degree than for what they actually achieve?
Yeah. What truly drives success in the long run? Is it the polish or the performance?
And that brings us to a final thought, maybe something for you listening to chew on.
Go on.
Is this focus on pedigree we see in some fields? Is it a kind of self-inflicted wound? Are companies blinding themselves?
Binding themselves to the talent they actually need, talent that might not fit the traditional elite mold.
Exactly. Especially in a world that's changing so fast. What other qualities, things like, resilience, ingenuity, genuine people skills, the stuff Anya clearly had, are being consistently undervalued?
But might actually be the crucial ingredients for real sustainable success.
That's the question to ponder. What are we missing when we only look at the surface?